Okay, let's be honest. As music producers, we have all done this. We start a fire new project, and before even finishing that one, we start another one, and then another one, and then another one. And suddenly, you have like 57 unfinished bangers fighting each other for attention, like it's the Hunger Games of unfinished songs. And somewhere in all the chaos, you stumble across a project named E minor emotional struggles 177 bpm something, which was made like 3 years ago. We open it and it says plugins missing, samples missing, or it just won't open. For some reason the file is corrupted, and now you're stuck wondering, which one do I finish first, which one was even good, and how the hell did I end up with a folder full of forgotten ideas and zero releases. That's where Notion comes in. Notion is an all in one workspace where you can write, plan, manage tasks, and organize your work. It combines notes, databases, calendars, and to do list in a single flexible platform. And yeah, it's free. It won't finish your tracks for you, sadly, but it can bring order to this creative mess. Hello everyone, my name is 128 and let me show you how I use Notion to keep my projects sane and moving forward. I'll first walk you through how my template works and how I organize tracks, manage collaborators, and stay on top of everything. And after that, I'll show you how to build a setup like this from scratch. If you don't want to build it yourself and just want to grab this exact template, there's a link in the description. You can duplicate it and start using it right away. Let's dive in. So, the first two columns are pretty straightforward. Track ID is the working name of the project, and start date helps me remember when I began the track. Collaborators. Here I note who I am working with, whether it's vocalist, lyricist, or other producers. It helps me manage communication and expectations. Final name. This is where I add the final title once the project is ready for release, which helps me differentiate between working names and final titles. Tempo and key. Tempo and key are essential for organizing my creative sessions, especially when I am selecting similar BPM tracks for mixing or building a set. Also, a lot of times clients ask me for this info later, or they forget to note it down during the project. Having it already documented here saves me time and avoids unnecessary back and forth. Genre and tags. These tags make it easy to filter my projects by vibe or genre, like drill, hip hop, bhajans, or fusion. It is super helpful when planning releases or EPs. Status and stage. These two columns show how far along the project is. Status is basically my current progress in the production stage. So here it goes from just started to 10%, 20%, 30%, and to all the way done. Stage tells me where my song is. For example, some songs are still in production, some songs are done with production and are now in mixing, and the songs which are now mixed are in mastering stage. And the final stage is released. Priority. This column tells me what to focus on. I use tags like very high, low, or very low based on deadlines, demand, or personal excitement. Release date and EP ID. These two columns help me stay organized when it comes to planning and grouping releases. Release date is where I add a specific date if I have already scheduled when a track will drop. This helps me visualize deadlines and prioritize which tracks need to be finished first. EPID. EPID is super useful when I'm working on a group of songs that belong to the same project, like an EP or a concept release. It lets me tag which tracks are part of the same collection so I can keep the sound, theme, and timeline consistent. Now, let me show you how you can make your own database. So, what you have to do is go here and click this plus icon to create a new page. Create new page and then select database. Select empty database, and now you have your base of the database, the starting point. Let's rename our database. Let's call it music projects. The first column is already there, the name. Let's rename it track id, track id. let's create a new page. Let's call it demo project. The new page here basically means your project name or your project. So let's create one more property. This plus icon will create a new property, which is basically the columns. Let's create a date. So here you can see all the properties you can add. There are so many. You can customize all you want. You can add as many properties as you want. So let's add basic one, date. Let's choose the date here, 24 today. Okay, and then add one more property. So if you want to add a property where you can choose multiple options, you have to add multi-select. Now let's make this let's say genre. You want to choose genres. Okay, once you have your multi-select property, just click on this empty space and it will ask you for an option. So let's say metal, create metal. You can add one more, let's say EDM, create EDM, and the properties you create here will always be there to add in your next projects or new ones. Now let's create a status bar. So for status, there is already a preset called status in Notion, which already gives you some nice tags: not started, in progress, done. And you can edit this. You can add your own. For example, let's add just started, press enter. You can edit this color code how you want. Let's give it nice yellow color. Yeah, just started. Now you can select just started. So this is how you can create your own database. You can add as many properties as you want. So let me show you how you can create filters. Okay, let's go into my database, and let's say if I want to see the tracks which are in mixing stage, let's say, so I can go here, create a new table in your already pre-existing main table. Here, create a table, call it in mixing, done. And then go here, these three lines, select filter and stage, and select in mixing. And now you can see all the tracks which are in mixing stage. And you can do this to all tags, for example fusion, anything. You can make a chart which will give you the basic information, that the number of total projects and the status of them. And that's all. You have created your own database. And that wraps up my Notion setup for managing music projects. I hope this gave you some inspiration to stay more organized and focused with your own tracks, whether you are producing for clients, working on personal releases, or juggling collabs. If you found this helpful, please drop a like, share it with your music friends, and consider subscribing. And like I said earlier, if you want to skip the building part and start using this template right away, the link is in the description. Thanks for watching, keep creating, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.